The Wall Street Journal is worried about American families that can't quite make ends meet, which is great and normal. The abnormal part, and the part that's not so great, is that the family they chose to make a video defending is one hypothetical family that makes $400,000 a year, and just at the end of the month, they just don't have any more money. And so they lay out some hypothetical expense levels to get you to sympathize with these poor people making $400,000 a year. Forget the poor, we'll let lib websites defend them. Wall Street Journal, more worried with people who make $500,000 almost a year. So here are some of the numbers that they use to make you feel sympathy for this family. So the hypothetical family, according to them, has 2 kids and lives in a home worth $1.2 million. Their core expenses, the biggest expenses they have, include a mortgage payment, property taxes, home maintenance, utilities, bills, auto insurance, and $575 in groceries a week, which comes to over $190,000 a year. Which right off the bat, okay, I mean, look, some things cost a lot of money, and if you live in an area with a high cost of living, you'll have to spend a lot of money. But right off the bat, you're saying they're living in a house worth $1.2 million, which, look, in Santa Monica, California, okay, that's a very small house. But in a lot of parts of the country, the people who you are trying to have sympathy for these rich people, that is like a gigantic mansion and a ton of land. But anyway, let's go on. So those are sort of understandable life expenses. Yeah, they're spending a lot of money on food, but whatever. They have a family of 4. They eat a lot of food. On top of that, they spend $25,000 on vacations, $22,000 on restaurants, entertainment, and club dues a year, plus $60,000 on a new car over 4 years, adding up to $62,000 annually. So they spend the $60,000 on the car. After 4 years, apparently they set it on fire and push off a cliff. Apparently they're not making any more money when they either trade it in or sell it. They're just getting a new one and then disintegrating the old one after 4 years. And so again, remember, the purpose of the Wall Street Journal putting out a video with this information is so that you will understand that someone who makes $400,000 in a year is just like you. They're having a hard time making ends meet. And so perhaps we should change our tax policy to advantage them a bit or give them a little bit of government money. But I'm sorry, Wall Street Journal, how out of touch are you that you think you can make a case that a family that spends $25,000 a year in freaking vacations is deserving of sympathy in a time when millions and millions of American families are out of work or can't afford their health insurance, can't afford to send their kids to school? You're spending more than they make in a year to go to Jamaica? $25,000 a year. Here's an idea to the hypothetical family. Here's an idea that can perhaps help you make ends meet a little bit. After 4 years of these vacations, of going to China and of touring Europe and everything, how about take a year or 2 off? Save $50,000, and that will make it a little bit easier for you to pay for your club dues and your yacht fees. $22,000 on restaurants, that is a lot of trips to Hardee's. I will tell you that, $22,000. Club dues, look, I know if you go to, a nice country club and you want to go golfing, some of those are like $100,000 a year, which is fine. If you have the money and you care about golfing that much, pay those dues and you will get to golf. You won't get, on the other hand, my sympathy. And then $60,000 on a car every year, which, look, a lot of the older rich families, families that saved and stuff like that and became millionaires, we're not buying brand new $60,000 cars every 4 years. But anyway, so look, the economy is doing a little bit better than it was a few years ago, but it's still rough. And despite the fact that there are more jobs than there were a few years ago, for most people, your income has not risen in a number of years. Times are incredibly hard, and they don't seem to be getting any easier. And then at that same time, as so many Americans are suffering, the Wall Street Journal, the most perhaps out-of-touch magazine other than maybe Vogue, comes in and says the person who's really suffering is the person who makes $500,000 a year. And so to all of you poor Americans, that's who we should be watching out for. That's who we should be benefiting with government policy. So please vote for politicians who will make it a little bit easier on these people who are making so very much more than you.